Alfred Naro.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's an honour to take a call in this general debate. First of all, it's my first time to speak since the passing away of our rangatira, Era Mahinare, he mau maharatanga ki te tino rangatira, he Era Mahinare, and can I just pay acknowledge and respect for him. He was a great leader. He was on a number of boards, one in particular that I know Peter Paraone will know, which is the Waitangi National Trust Board. He'll be greatly missed because of his leadership up in the far north. And I make mention of that leadership because leadership becomes critically important to this country, and it's what our communities look for. I know that the Right Honourable Winston Peters talked about the far north and about a community looking for something different, something new. Can I say that absolutely there was a sense of looking for more opportunities that were up there, whether it be employment, whether it be in forestry, whether it be in roading, and so they were looking for that. But can I also to add to the part of the picture that's not often talked about, that the Honourable Winston Peters hasn't described, and that is that the handshake, the deal that was done behind closed doors with the Labour Party. And Andrew Little was up there, and what happened was actually the fact is that both the Greens and Labour conceded, and so that was the difference between 4,000 of the majority, which won them in the end. They did win, I won't take away that. It was a win, but can I also say that when you do those deals, and the Labour are used to that, even though they talked about the deals that have been done on the national side, and yet they know Jeanette Fitzsimons in Coromandel, the deal was done there with Labour voters. The gain was they were able to stay in government, or whether it was with Jim Anderson and the Alliance. The deal was they were able to stay in government. However, in this case, Labour have been the greatest loser. Because out of this, what has happened? Absolutely nothing. In fact, day one after the election, when it was asked about whether there would be some deals of working together, this is what the Right Honourable Winston Peters said. He said, there is no debt to be owed. There is no debt to be owed. And classic to Winston, that was actually what was said. But Mr Speaker, what the country is looking for, what the regions are looking for, is for leadership. And when we look at this national government, tomorrow will be an important day because we look at the leadership of this government and what have they been able to do. When we have the pollings that go out, what's the number one issue that comes up? Constantly, it's around the economy. It's around the economy, it's around other issues, around housing, education and health. But people ask, can we fiscally manage ourselves in our economy? We've shown with the leadership of the Right Honourable John Keys and also to the Deputy Prime Minister Bill English, we've had steady and sensible finances are in order. In fact, don't take our word for it. Let's talk about what's come out of the Don Post. And this hurts the opposition because now we have people like Shamil Iqbal, for instance, and he's turned around and said people have talked about it as a rock star economy, but instead on this side, we've talked about a rock solid economy. And here's what he says. Prior to the recession, prior to the times, obviously, when the Labour were in government, before the recession, we were willing to borrow and spend. Isn't that a classic example of the Labour government, borrow and spend? In comparison, we're being very careful now. In fact, he said we're managing our economy, that in the long term, it's an economy that's working ahead of other economies in the world. And for instance, other traditional powerhouses like Japan, like the United States, and even like Britain. Mr. Speaker, again, we're seeing that the confidence in the leadership financially pays a difference. And how does that make a difference to our communities at large? It makes a difference, Mr. Speaker, because when we manage that economy fiscally well, we can do the things that are important to our communities in regards to health, housing and education. In fact, we know that the total annual cost of new initiatives that the government's last 6 budgets is less than $2.9 billion. By comparison, the extra costs in the last 6 budgets of the previous government totaled $20 billion. That's the difference that we make. $2.9 billion versus $20 billion, managing successfully. However, despite the fact that we're managing, we're reducing our costs, we are also too not reneging on the things that are absolutely important to us. Mr. Speaker, quickly I want to talk about the KiwiSaver Homestar package that is making a difference. That was launched on the 15th of April out in West Auckland, home of the West, out in Henderson Baptist Church, and over there over 150 people came because they wanted to hear around housing affordability. And here are the 3 things, the 3 changes that are important. Replacing the KiwiSaver First Home Deposit Subsidy with a grant. Doubling the support for buying new home and increasing the housing pricing limits. So for instance, Mr. Speaker, those who've been on 3 years, it'll be $3,000. 4 years, $6,000 and $8,000 if you've been on 5 years. We will double that out from $5,000 to $10,000 for a new home. We believe that's making a difference. The second thing is that we're now able to enlarge the KiwiSaver first home withdrawals. We can, and almost 95% of that can be used for your KiwiSaver Home Start loans. Mr. Speaker, I think that and I know that we're doing a great thing to lead the country. We look forward to the budget tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.